We're going to explain how to remove the time portion from a DateTime object, leaving only the date. This is a common task in programming, and the methods vary slightly depending on the programming language you're using. We'll cover a few popular choices. 1. Python. In Python, you typically use the dateIs method of the DateTime object. Let's say you have a DateTime object called myDateTime. To extract just the date part, you would use myDate in myDateTime date, and instead. This creates a new date object containing only the year, month, and day. You can then format this date object as a string using mydate.strftime %y%m set and d. If needed, replacing the format codes with your preferred date display style. 2. JavaScript. JavaScript's date object doesn't directly offer a method to cleanly separate the date and time. However, you can create a new date object using only the year, month, and day obtained from the original date object. You would first get the year, month, remembering that JavaScript's month is 0 indexed, and day from your original date object using getFullYear, getMonth, and getDate. And create a new date object using these values: new date, year, month, day. This new date object will have its time components set to midnight, 0 ta sarat. To display this in a specific format, you can use the toLocalDateString method, or create your own custom formatting using string manipulation. 3. Java. In Java, you use the localDate class to represent dates without times. If you have a localDateTime object, which includes both date and time, you can convert it to localDate using the toLocalDateIden method. For example, if my localDateTime is your localDateTime object, localDate my localDate equals my localDateTime. To localDate, we'll give you a localDate object containing only the date information. You can then format this using DateTime formatter for output if required, specifying the desired format pattern such as YMMDD. 4. SAP. Similar to Java, CWA uses the DateTime struct and the date property to extract just the date portion. If you have a DateTime object, let's call it myDateTime, DateTime date only @saws myDateTime date creates a new DateTime object with the time set to midnight, 00 yo. For custom formatting, you can leverage the toStringDots method with a format string such as YMMDD. In summary, most programming languages provide straightforward ways to remove the time component from a DateTime object. The specific method depends on the language and its date/time libraries, but the core concept involves either extracting the date parts to construct a new date object or using a built-in method designed to directly obtain the date part. Remember to look up the relevant documentation for your chosen language to understand the specific functions and methods available.